Oh, I hear the crowd. Oh my God, it's Dan. He's so short in real life.
I got him, bro.
Everyone,
He's like really short in real life.
We're Rivals of Aether, and we got some exclusive goodness for you guys today. So this is actually our 3rd year at the convention. So we've been here since it started. This is also our biggest time at the convention. We have over 150 people in our singles bracket, which starts today. And today we're going to be revealing something awesome. So I'm Dan Fernacey. I had a little bit to do with the development of Rivals of Aether.
I'm Trevor Youngblood. I'm the programmer.
I'm George Rogers. I'm the community manager.
I'm still George Rogers, and I'm the community manager.
Yeah, George. All right, so without much delay, let's get in and see what we got.
Let's go, of course, Riley.
What's happening, boys?
Oh, here we go. It's a car from Riley.
Whoa.
new character, it's okay.
What?
It's not.
It's the I thought that was a joke. Oh my god.
This guy
It's Greninja! I legit thought it was a call out for a second.
It's broken. It's so broken.
Greninja!
Gotta come in, grab. It's literally
Oh, the back air though? Just saying, I told you.
It's Greninja!
He's Greninja with the witch
Oh, he's Lucario too. He's Lucario.
It's like Sheen, Greninja, Lucario, and everything else. No, it's like Bayonetta.
It's the bag grab!
No, my streak is
He has a wacky jet that looks like it actually works.
That's nuts. Oh my god. What element is this?
Oh my god! When you accidentally add Greninja.
He's Greninja with Puma's necklace.
Ori out?
Ori out? Yeah, yes, poison.
No, he's not out yet.
And I know everyone's thinking, why is he the poisonous pacifist if we just watched him beat people up for a minute and a half? That's because he only fights very rarely when he wants to. But yeah, we're very excited to reveal this character. I know it's a little bit of a twist. I know a lot of people were expecting a sword fighter that we've been teasing. So it was pretty fun to set this up and know that, no, we did not reveal a sword fighter today. So Ranno is named after our concept artist who just joined the team this year, Ranno. And the way that we found him as a concept artist was I decided I wanted to make a frog character. So I went onto Twitter and I found an artist, an anthropomorphic mostly artist who had a lot of frogs on his Twitter. And I was like, hey, you seem to be an expert in this field. So what did you think about designing a character for Rivals of Aether? And he had so much fun on Ranno that he's actually the concept artist for all of the DLC characters that we're going to be revealing later this year. In terms of story, he's a water fighter. So he's with Orcane and Edelus. He's the 3rd water fighter with Poison as his kind of specialty in terms of water. He's like a martial arts master. So his story is that he's an older warrior. He was trained by monks who came down from the mountains. So if you've seen Absa's stage, you can kind of see that type of civilization. And he also has this thing where he can actually cleanse the water in his swamp by using his body to kind of extract the contaminants. So that's why you see this poisonous sash around him. That's him cleansing water pretty much all the time. So he's actually like a good guy in the swamp, but when he wants to fight, it's very quick and it's very decisive. So at this panel, we're going to hop into kind of his high-level design so you guys can get like a behind-the-scenes look at what we kind of do when we're designing a character. We focus a lot on like the specials and how those interact. So yeah, let's get into his design. I
guess I'll walk through this too.
All right, so in Rivals of Aether, one thing we try to do is the game is very aggressive in general, but we try to have kind of a balanced roster so everyone can kind of find characters that they like. And one of the ways that we grid the characters is by, are they a rushdown or a zoner? So rushdown characters generally have tools to get in. They're in your face. Raster, for example, has his current that helps him keep on his opponents. Maple has her mark and her tether, which help her keep on opponents. And then zoners are the opposite. They try to keep you away. A lot of their combo game is based on projectiles or kind of traps like Orcane has. So we kind of fill out that grid on the horizontal, and then we decide is a character more ground-focused or aerial-focused. So Ranno is interesting because, as you can see, he's actually pretty close to the center, hanging out with Zetterburn and Forsburn. And the reason for that is he has pretty good ground game in the sense that a lot of his tools, like his tilts, are very important to his combo game. But he also has an aerial game where all his aerials can actually KO. So unlike most Rivals characters, he can actually get some kills off pretty much any aerial. And then we also design unique features. So after we go into his movement, we can kind of walk through his signature features that you guys got to see in the trailer. We'll walk you through how each of those work. All right, so his movement, he's definitely like kind of in the middle of the road in terms of Rivals, which means he would be a pretty fast character in most other games. He has good horizontal ground speed. He's slower than Maple, but he's faster than Zetterburn on the ground. But his max speed in the air is actually pretty low. So what that means is for his combo game to work, you kind of have to consistently land to combo. So that kind of fits his motif of being a frog. We want you to basically land and jump to do your combo game. He also has low gravity compared to other Rivals, so he's able to string a lot of aerials together. A bit like Raster in that regard, but his aerials are faster, so you'll see a lot of his combo game is stringing multiple aerials in one jump. And then finally, he actually has a new mechanic that we added for Ranno to kind of fit his frog motif. We gave him a super jump. So if you crouch and then you full hop, you actually get a third height of jump that's even higher than a full hop.
It's my jam.
And if you look in the bottom example
Yeah,
here,
really.
you can kind of see
That
him do it
top
at the very
combo
end
ain't
with the
true
up
though.
air.
He stops on the
normally you wouldn't be able
platform
to
for a
reach
bit.
that
That makes
line
it
like
cool.
A full hop. So that's something
He's
that
just
he
standing
has
still on the platform.
because
What's
he's a
he
frog. And he likes to jump. Do you want to say anything about movement? Nope. All right. One time I just do this. All right. So his passive, this is something that, oddly enough, when we design characters, a lot of times in a game like Super Smash Brothers, you wouldn't really, most characters don't even have what you would call a passive, but I think like half the Rivals characters do have passives. Something like Zetterburn's Fire, for example, was the first one we did, where a lot of his specials light his opponent on fire. We also have Maple's Mark. Trying to think of others. I guess like Forsburn Smoke isn't really a passive, but it kind of is. Just things like that where kind of all of their abilities feed into it. So Ranno's is Poison. I guess he's most similar to Zetterburn in the sense that he's putting his status on his opponents. So his specials, his strong attacks, and his jab combo all apply poison stacks. And poison can stack up to 4 times. So his forward special is his darts. They apply 1 stack for each dart. His up special also fires darts, and that's 1 stack as well. His strong attack, each of his strong attacks apply 2 stacks. So if you did a combo and you put 2 strong attacks in it, your opponent would be full on poison immediately. And then poison players, they take 1 damage each time they attack. So if you're poisoned, you don't really want to just spam your attack button anymore. You want to make sure you're going to hit your opponent. You want to hit Ranno because when you hit him, that's how you remove a stack. So if you look at the bottom example with Aether, Ranno uses his jab combo to basically get a full stack immediately, and then Aether combos Ranno back, and he removes all the poison, only taking a little bit of damage. He looked like he missed a down tilt, so he took an extra damage for that.
Time that you can place.
And then the neutral special, this is his zoning
God,
move,
I'm
so this is why you wouldn't necessarily place Ranno all the way on rushdown, because he does have a trap, kind of like Orcane. And we call it the Toxic Trap. It's a large bubble that basically floats around the stage. Even before anyone's in it, you can actually attack the bubble to reposition it and move it around. And then if the player gets launched, if either player gets launched into the bubble, either Ranno or your opponent, they enter what we call the bubbled state. And in Rivals, we like to actually add new hit stun states. That's kind of a thing I enjoy. And then Trevor rolls his eyes, and then we try it, and it usually works, in my opinion. So some of the examples we have in Rivals are we have Maple's Wrap is kind of a new state for Rivals where it's like hit stun, but you don't go anywhere. And then Aether's Ice was the next one we did, and that's kind of my favorite because I wanted like a slow version of tech chasing when I came up with Aether's Ice. And then Ranno's Bubble is the third kind of new state. And Bubble's really interesting because it's not like it's not like Ice or Wrap where you're just stuck. The person in the bubble has pretty good control of where the bubble is going to go. And they also have DI on every hit that they get. So you'll see, as most of the video clips we have are of sweet combos, but there's just as many clips of the person in the bubble just being really tricky and basically dodging everything Ranno tries to do, but just barely, like just out of range. You're just like a little bit too far away. And that's a kind of fun mechanic that you would only get on Ranno in like the way that you have to dodge when you're in a bubble. And then the final thing about the bubbled state is the length of it is determined on how many poison stacks you have. So if you have no stacks and you get launched into the bubble, it's not really that scary. If you look, Ranno gets launched in right there with no stacks. He's not in it for very long. But if you have 4 stacks and you get launched in the bubble, you're going to take a lot of damage because you're going to be in there for a long time. All right, so forward special is very similar to, not very similar. It's not close at all to Sheik's Needles. But it's kind of Sheik's Needles. So the only difference between it and Sheik is, unlike Sheik's Needles, when you fire all of them, when you fire them charged, we actually have them spread out, kind of like a shotgun effect. And it's really cool to use on the ground because when you fire them on the ground, one fires in a straight line, but 4 fires in a spread going up. So you can actually catch jumping opponents with that. And each dart applies 1 stack. If you're fully charged and you fire at someone right in front of you, you can actually get all 4 darts to hit and basically get a full poison stack immediately. And then you can also press dodge to stop and store the charge, just like nothing like Sheik does in Super Smash Brothers. It's not like that at all. But yeah, that's actually probably my favorite special on Ranno because it's a great combo extender. We don't really have a lot of moves in Rivals that send diagonal down at this angle. So if someone DIs out and gets out of the combo, you can often fire a single dart to make your combo even longer.
Yeah, sure. All right, I'm going to talk about the up special a little bit. It's called Poison Spin. So you might have seen in the trailer, there's a couple different things you can do with this move. just by itself, it's
You
not
ride
as strong as
Ragdoll and
the
be like,
It'll
well,
be
recovery
easy to
distance
parry that,
and the
for
speed.
sure.
It's kind of slow and you don't go
Wait,
Wait,
fast.
what if you can just? What if the parry works on the darts?
So
Yeah,
Parry
it
will
would probably
probably
reflect
be
on the
spin
darts, but
version of
it won't hit him.
and
I'll
you can
say.
do the first half.
You'll just
and then
say
you
it's
can go to the spin.
Oh, you
and it
can-
splits out
you
a bunch
can
of
dive
different
kick.
darts.
Or maybe it'll
You
just-
can't aim the darts, but it's kind of deceptive because they actually cover a lot of space. So like this force burn's trying to approach and it stops him. And that also gives you stacks, so it sets you up for a combo. The other thing you can do with it is press down special during the lunge to dive kick, and that gives you a really fast downward hitbox. That's good for recovery also, so you can see that in the second clip. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the down special kick is nice because it's a dive kick in Rivals, but you can also ledge cancel it. So not only is it useful for recovery, but I like to use it on stage to try to get sweet ledge cancel combos, which means when I do it, I basically miss the ledge cancel and don't get any combo. But it looks really sweet when you do because you can basically get instant aerials immediately after hitting it.
I think it's also one of our first attacks to actually hit below the platform. So if you dive kick on top of a platform, you can hit someone below it, which is pretty sweet.
Yeah, it's kind of like Game & Watch in a lot of the Smash games where you can put his key like under the platform.
Yeah.
I think that's it on this, right? Yeah, I think that's it. Yeah. Cool, that's up special.
The Toxic Tongue is one of my favorite moves. So this is one we saw in the trailer a lot too. He spits out his tongue. It has a hitbox on the end that grabs anyone and pulls you into Ranno. He eats you and spits you out as a bubble. And like we talked about the bubble state a little bit before, that depends how many poison stacks you have for how long it's gonna last. The move is great in a lot of ways just because of how slow it is and how long it lasts. Like you'd think, oh, these tether moves like aren't very useful in competitive play, but a lot of times we catch people when we were playing, at least between us, like people parry or they do like a roll and it just lasts so long and it goes so far that you grab them and you can start a new combo. It also goes diagonal in the air, so diagonal down again. So that's another coverage option he has, how we talked about the darts too, that you can do. It freezes you in the air too, so it gives good coverage. Yeah, and then the last thing it's really good for is movement. So I think we might have a clip there where he uses his down special on the ground, and anything he hits with the tongue he'll pull him towards it, and he keeps that momentum. So you can even do it on the side of the stage to get back to the stage as a mix-up. You can do it on the stage to like rapidly approach someone, and they're not going to be expecting it, and it just gives you a lot of movement options.
Yeah, so the tongue is a really fun movement option because it's kind of like a new one we have in Rivals that it's a bit of a high-risk movement option because when you're getting pulled in, you're basically accelerating towards the ground. And to get the kind of best hop out of it, you want to double jump right before you hit the ground. So if you mess up and you go into the ground, the friction kills a lot of your speed. So you want to like get these perfect hops by like basically hitting it the frame before. And it's kind of fun because while you can mess it up, when you do get it perfect, it feels really good to like just fling yourself at somebody and catch them with like a forward air. Because Ranno's forward air, like you can see in most of these GIFs, it's really good. It has a horizontal kill box at the front, and then it also has a spike hitbox at the bottom. Cool. We'll let Trevor talk a little bit about what's the strategy for fighting against Ranno, because he sounds super OP now that we talked about him.
Yeah, so this character is very light, a lot like Maple. And his recovery is really exploitable, so what you really want to do is hit him off stage and keep him there for as long as possible. He also doesn't have disjoints like at all, besides the tongue. So if you can keep him out with disjoints or just outrange him, it's really useful. You can use your own poison state to bait him into coming in to attack you, and it's just really useful. He does have a really good projectile, so trying to out-zone him can be bad for you if you try to do that. And then he has a lot of mix-ups in his recovery, but none of them are individually strong by themselves. So as long as you cover, like you can wait out and cover them pretty easily.
Yeah, so pretty much every one of his specials can be used off stage to kind of delay his way back. But if you watched his gameplay, his up special isn't very far. So if you just kind of wait for him to have to use up special, you can usually punish him there. I know I played the Ranno versus Ranno matchup a lot, and this character edge guards himself so well. Like, once you get the other Ranno off stage, you have like 100 options you can do. I like to like just throw darts and get him fully poisoned while he's off stage, and then you bubble him, and then you knock the bubble back off stage, which is pretty fun. Because when you're in a bubble, you can actually get KO'd. You don't go very far from every hit, but if you get sent into the blast zone, you can still die. So it's not always smart to like drift super far off stage. Sure, you might get away from the Ranno comboing you, but you could also get forward aired and get taken out. Sweet. So yeah, that's Ranno. He'll be joining the game later this year, so we don't have a release date on him yet, but we're working on a new character for each element that will be coming in 2017. So Ranno is the first of those 4, and he's, like I said, he's the water character. We're super excited. He's actually going to be playable here at Super Smash Con. So, yeah. He's not going to be in the singles tournament because there's $2,000 on the line. So we're not going to be like, sure, here's a character no one's ever played. But he's going to be in doubles tomorrow, and we're actually doing a new tournament on Sunday. What do we call it? The speed bracket or something?
Yeah, the Aether speed bracket.
Yeah, and that's going to have Ori and Ranno both playable in the tournament. So if you think Ranno's going to be your new main, you can find out on Sunday if you're here at Super Smash Con.
Which you are.
Which you are right now. And yeah, I guess now we'll go into some Q&A. And you guys can feel free to ask questions about Ranno or anything Rivals of Aether related, and we'll be happy to answer as best as we can.
Is there someone with a mic? How do they ask questions?
I don't know how you ask questions though.
Yeah.
Just yell it at me.
I guess just approach us.
Approach us for a question.
All right. Okay, so I've got one first. Someone just asked for an update on Ori and the Microsoft certification.
Is the question, when's Ori? Is that the question? It's when's Ori? All right, one sec. Let's put the screen up and let's see if we can figure it out.
Oh,
I don't want to play it.
Oh, yeah.
Let's get. All right, let's see.
Damn butt spam. Go to butt spam.
All right, and so I know your question was specific to Xbox certification, but
August
that means that that's
23rd.
coming out on the same day. So Xbox and Ori.
We passed certification.
I'm at
Barely.
school.
Very barely.
ditch.
We had to get a bunch of exceptions, but it worked.
We're out of the ditch.
Just under 2 weeks.
Microsoft is such a good company, lol.
The question is,
They were
why does
good.
Ranno have pants?
But Zetterburn does not.
But Zetterburn does not. Well, I mean, I wish I had a really clever answer right now, but I can't in my head fast enough. So the real answer is because I made the Zetterburn sprite like 3.5 years ago, and I'm not really great at drawing. All right, so we actually did think about redoing Zetterburn completely, and we've talked about it, but one of the reasons we haven't is if we had Elian do it, it takes just about as long as a new character, so we'd rather him be focusing on new characters. We do have another artist who's working on rival sprites now, so maybe we'll do Zetterburn, but I think we get a lot more bang for the buck right now making new characters, since they're pretty cool. Yeah, sorry about the loincloth. For all you fans of Zetterburn's loincloth.
Anyone else? Oh, cool. You got a mic for him? Sorry, we're just trying to direct the stage help with the microphone.
All right, so this is sort of like a follow-up to the whole Ori release date and everything. I know you said that the new character you showed off today was the first of 4, so the other 3 are just going to be like completely original characters, right? And like on that note, are you looking into any other potential, guest characters in the way that Ori was revealed? And I know that brought up a lot of hype and a lot of attention in this game in particular, just coming off the hype for Ori and all that.
Yeah, so the question was, are we looking into other guest characters? And I assumed the other 3 are original. So yeah, so right now our order is we're working on 3 more original characters. They're up next. We're pretty far into the second one that we've done after Ranno. And then we have 2 more that are designed but not sprited or anything yet. And then after that, we are planning on doing 1 more guest character. And we're already talking to some indie game developers about who would be the best fit. So yeah, just hit us up on Twitter if you have recommendations that aren't Carr from Rocket League. Because I have already gotten that recommendation like 100 times, I want to say. And I just don't know if it's that great of a recommendation, honestly. But thanks, AlphaRad, for that one. But yeah, so we are planning on doing another indie. It will just be probably early 2018 will be the last kind of guest character that we want to do.
Is there ever going to be like a Linux port?
Linux? All right, so the main reason we don't have Linux and Mac right now is because we don't have netcode for either of those platforms. So eventually we do want to have both of them on Steam because we said we were going to do it, and also because we want everyone to play it if they buy the game on Steam. But we have to either decide, can we get a netcode solution, or are we just going to release a local only for both Mac and Linux, which is a little bit lame, but it might be our only option at this point. So I would say as we finish up DLC, we're going to either bite the bullet and just release local, or we'll hopefully be able to get, like I said, an online supported version. So wait until probably early next year would be your best bet for having either of those platforms.
Hello. So I've never actually seen anything about this game before. So how many characters are going to be in this game exactly?
Right. So he hasn't seen the game, so he asked how many characters are in Rivals. So we launched with 8 in March on Steam. There was 2 for each element. So we have fire, water, air, earth. And then, for example, fire, we have a Zetterburn, he's fire, and Forsburn, smoke. And then in June, we revealed Ori as our first DLC. So that's was a guest character. So that gets us up to 9. Then we're going to do 4 DLC that are original. So that's 13. And then 1 more indie guest. We'll wrap it up at 14 sometime next year.
I have a question. How much dedicated WAM do you need to run Minecraft server?
All right, the question is how much dedicated WAM is required to server? 6 dedicated WAM at least for Rivals of Aether.
And if you actually go to downloadmoreram.com, that can help you out if you're missing the requirement. Just check our Steam requirements.
Yeah, Rivals used to run really slow on my computer, and then I downloaded more RAM at downloadmoreram.com, and now Rivals plays at 1,000,000 FPS and a half.
Do you think we could ever get like Smash Brothers based skins for like maybe like Wolf for Zetterburn or Marth for Forsborn?
Yeah, so the question was, are we ever thinking about Smash Brothers themed skins? So we'll never do like an officially Smash Brothers themed skin. So all the skins you see in Rivals of Aether, like we have Twitch Absa, for example, Burrito Crag, Summit Crag. Those were all, we actually worked with the partners, so Twitch approved Twitch Absa, and they had to see the concepts and the sprites. So Nintendo would probably never approve a Rivals of Aether character, sadly. But we definitely do like doing small homages. So we have a Shine skin, and we kept that about Shine. I think that's the closest you'll see us do to like a Super Smash Brothers one, but we definitely like, doing homages to games and stuff, but unfortunately I don't think we'll ever have an official like Wolf or Fox or Falco skin or anything like that.
Will there ever be a sword character?
Yes. So I'll let Trevor answer this a little bit. I said before that I wanted to give Trevor a character to design because he's been asking for a simpler character, kind of like Zetterburn, for a long time now. So I gave him the sword character. But then after he worked on it for a bit, I looked at the design and tried to complicate it because that's what I do. But yes, we do have a sword character. You can talk about a little bit about what you want in that character.
Yeah, so what I really wanted was another simple character, like he said, something that's not like managing a puddle or like worrying about smoke charges, stuff like that. So I wanted it to be like you're focusing on using your sword to hit the opponent and keep them away, combo them, do whatever you want. Yeah, I just wanted to keep it mainly simple. I'm not sure how much else I can say.
Yeah, right. He's like looking at me like, did I say too much? So the one thing I will say is we're doing a tipper-based sword character. So we're going all the way for tip versus non-tip gameplay.
And that was just a choice to add complexity without adding like another like object into the game. It just adds more nuance to the character in a really simple way.
Yeah, totally.
Do you think you're going to... Are there any plans for some sort of interaction with Steam Workshop?
Yeah, so the question is, do we have plans for Steam Workshop? So, sort of, we want to, but we haven't actually put a lot of resources into it. So ideally, it would be awesome to do just characters on Steam Workshop down the road. The struggle is going to be how much work that is to get it set up with, we use GameMaker Studio, so some things are really easy in GameMaker and some things are incredibly difficult. We do know that other GameMaker games do have Steam Workshop, so there's definitely like a path, but our challenge will be none of us are really experienced in it, so we want to do it, but we probably would hire like another GameMaker dev to like come in and set that up for us, and that would be once we're done all the DLC, we'd focus on that, not till we're done filling out the roster the way we want.
So I know that Microsoft certification seemed really fun for you guys. Nintendo, are you guys ever planning on having any form of Nintendo certification for the Switch?
Yeah, so the question was Nintendo, I imagine Nintendo Switch and getting certified for that. So right now, GameMaker Studio doesn't have an export to Switch, which is why it's kind of not even on our roadmap. I think there's rumors that maybe they're working on it, maybe not. We're definitely interested in the Switch, but at the same time, we're also wanted to, we have like a lot of our fan bases on Steam now, so we kind of want to make sure we're supporting that first and foremost. I have said that our plan is to flesh out the roster and then kind of do a definitive edition with all the characters, and that is the game that we would look to bring other places. So for that, once we're done the definitive, we would look at PlayStation. If Switch is viable, we'll go for it. I really don't think we're going to reprogram Rivals for Switch at this point, just because I have a feeling Smash will be out on Switch eventually anyway, so but if we can get an export without reprogramming the entire game, well, we'd definitely be interested in doing Switch.
All right, I think we have time for one more question, so make it good.
With Ranno and his poison stacks, if you have 4, do they take 4 damage per attack they do, or 1 damage?
Yeah, so the question was with Ranno and his poison stacks, do they take 4 damage every time they try to remove a stack, or is it 1 damage? So it's just only 1 damage, and then for each time you attack, regardless of how many stacks. But if you land an attack, you only get rid of 1. So if you have 4 and you land a jab, that gets rid of 1, and you take a damage. And then if you land the next jab, that gets rid of 1, and you take 1 damage again. So the damage isn't stacking, but you have to get rid of each of them when you attack your opponent. Cool.
I think they want us to wrap it up at 8.
Yeah. Sweet. So yeah, that was Rivals of Aether, the Ranno panel. Hopefully we'll get some sweet footage from Super Smash Con of people playing over the weekend. And stay tuned on Twitter, Rivals of Aether, for more awesome character announcement later this year.